Welcome in. It is time to talk about a couple of Deebo Samuel contract triggers that have both come and activated for the 49ers over the past few weeks. And in the process of these triggers happening, the 49ers have doubled down on their commitment to Deebo Samuel. Obviously relevant given the fact there's some way out there trade rumors, I think, originating from a Boston radio producer earlier this offseason. But Deebo Samuel, one of the most interesting 49ers players in contracts, given the fact that last year at this time, he obviously was at odds with the 49ers, ultimately did figure it out, signed the contract right at the start of training camp. And it is the contract that the 49ers are dealing with now. First, Deebo Samuel contract mechanism that was activated happened in mid-March. I talked about this one. It did occur about half a month ago, but the 49ers, it was a very smart way of managing the cap. They effectively built an option bonus restructure into the contract, but they weren't compelled to take it. They had to decide by mid-March if they're going to take this, if they needed the cap space that a restructure does generate. So to help you understand what the 49ers did, I can make this bigger up on the screen, but you could look at 2023. Right here, you can see Deebo Samuel has a minimum base salary of $1.08 million. That is the vet minimum. It wasn't always that way. Throughout the first half of March, Deebo Samuel, and before, Deebo Samuel had about a $10 million base salary. The 49ers gave themselves the option to reduce that base salary to $1.08 million when the time came in March and convert the remainder, because it was all fully guaranteed anyway, into a signing bonus, and then stretch that signing bonus out over these years against the cap, $1.843 million tacked on per year. They added another void year with the execution of that contract mechanism in mid-March. So you can only prorate stuff for 5 years. 49ers said, hey, we'd rather run the proration starting in 2023 so we can add the void year and stretch it to 2027. It was a way to stretch this out like a longer accordion than if they had just paid the bonus out in 2022. And it gave them flexibility to decide if they needed to do that. And they decided on March 17th, around then, of 2000, or maybe a little bit sooner. It wasn't quite St. Patrick's Day. It was before the start of the new league year. 49ers decided they would carry forward with this contract mechanism. Deebo's base salary did become a signing bonus, and a void year was added, and the 49ers opened up, about $9 million of cap room here in 2023. There's the summary. $9.12 million added. It was on March 9th. March 9th was the date, and the void year was added. All right, so there was another contract mechanism. This one came on April 1st, just a couple days ago. Not an April Fool's joke. Deebo Samuel, let's go back to his contract. You look at 2024, $2.972 million base salary and $750,000 total of per game roster bonus money. All of that became fully guaranteed when Deebo Samuel was still on the roster on April 1st of 2023. So Deebo's got a ton of guaranteed money in 2023. And now, since he's still on the roster past April 1st, he's got a ton of guaranteed money in 2024. Here is the overarching summary and truth. Because of those two mechanisms, Deebo Samuel will now be very hard to trade through 2024. He had already been essentially impossible to trade in 2023. I'll explain why with the chart here in a little bit. But now also through 2024, it's going to be hard to trade Deebo Samuel and essentially impossible to cut him. The 49ers have basically doubled down on their commitment to Deebo Samuel, both through a restructure mechanism and also through this original contract that they signed, which said, Deebo, if you stay healthy and if we still like you after 2022, this is going to all work out, and your 2024 salary is going to be guaranteed, along with that $750,000 of per game roster bonus money. To illustrate why a trade was already impossible in 2023, you can look over here. This is dead money and cap savings. Because of the massive signing bonus, if the 49ers would have traded Deebo Samuel this year, it would have cost them nearly $20 million of dead money. They would have shouldered a $28.4 million dead money hit, and the cap savings would have been negative. They would have had to pay. It would have been more expensive because of the acceleration of proration bonus money. It would have been more expensive to trade him than to keep him. You talk about this right here. It's now very hard to trade Deebo Samuel even in 2024. Well, You'd save $6.8 million by trading him, but it'd still be a $21.8 million dead money hit now with a lot of these guarantees hitting Deebo Samuel's contract. Plus the base salary of $20.972 million. That's rigid now. That's guaranteed. That means that a team would have to absorb that in a trade. So the 49ers are, with these contract triggers, are doubling down on Deebo Samuel. I don't see a reason why not to. I mean, he did have the one injury last year, but when both Deebo and Christian McCaffrey on the field, this offense was almost impossible to stop. In fact, it was impossible to stop when they had those two guys, positionless skill position players, plus a quarterback. When they ran out of quarterbacks, well, that's when the problems arose. But the 49ers are going to hammer home that offensive philosophy, and that is making opponents eat Deebo Samuel's pads and making them account for both him and Christian McCaffrey. They can line up in the backfield. They can line up out wide. These are two players who obviously are tremendously versatile and are able to give the 49ers a leg up on offense. That's how Kyle Shanahan likes to run things. And that's why the 49ers have doubled down financially on Deebo Samuel. All right, hope this helps answer some of your questions. We'll talk to you all very soon. Everybody take care.